I'm going to attempt to cover safety on the circular saw today. I say attempt because there is a myriad of difficulties and dangers that can happen with a circular saw, and so I'm going to try and cover the basic ones, but you always have to be prepared on a job site, always looking ahead. We have a worm drive, we have a standard circular saw, and then we have a battery powered. I also brought over a beam saw just so you can see what it looks like, but we won't be covering safety specifically on that. This is a worm drive skill saw. This is actually a skill saw. It is a circular saw, but the brand name is Skill. Some people refer to the circular saw as a skill saw. It's a secondary name. The worm drive primarily has more torque, and so it's used in applications where you have to power through a cut, like large sheets of plywood. You usually don't want to be running around on a roof with one of these. Some framers will only use worm drive. I have transitioned from a standard circular saw to a battery powered, and primarily for almost everything I use now on the job site I go to battery just because it's so much lighter. The DeWalt has a 60 volt version that will last most of the day for most cuts. Beam saw, primarily we're cutting large items with it. The standard size of the blade is a 7 1/4. The battery powered have a myriad of different sizes for it. The DeWalt is a 6 1/2 inch. These are all direct drive, meaning the motor is connected directly to the blade. The principal use of the circular saw is job site work. It doesn't make a lot of sense to take a 12-foot long 2x10 and carry it over to a chop saw to make a little cut when you can grab the skill saw, circular saw, a lot easier and go over and cut the board there where it needs to be placed. The secondary use on the circular saw is for ripping, for cross cutting, and for bevel cuts, and we'll cover those all when I start on the safety. On a typical circular saw, you will have a blade guard, you will have the base shoe, or some people refer to it as a fence. You have a trigger pull with a thumb lock. Only way to turn this machine on is to push the trigger to pull down first and then pull the thumb lock. Some circular saws will not have that, they will just turn on directly. There is also a bevel lock, so I can loosen this, tilt it at a bevel, and there's also a height lock, so I can set the height for the blade at whatever I need to. Most circular saws also have a blade brake, so that when your hand comes off the trigger, the blade will stop quickly. I recommend starting out with a battery-powered circular saw. They're a lot lighter, they're a lot safer, and you don't have to worry about a power cord and getting tangled up in it. You can use any of the skill saws. We've been doing it for years, but if you're starting out in a school setting, I would recommend starting with a battery power to be safest.